UNMASC, the theater project that promotes the gender justice and works on topics of toxic masculinity, gender-based violence, domestic violence, partnership violence, and questioning the topics of how can we join together in Kosovo, Serbia, and Austria, and how we can, with our expertise in our local communities, bring our knowledge together, question these topics, and look for the potential answers on challenges that we're facing in our local communities and how we can improve our expertise and use this project and this partnership as a blueprint for our future work, and how we can empower, critically approach, and look for potential solutions on these issues, centering in each country the specific communities, working with youth, working with women, working with LGBTIQ community, and exploring the complexity and multi-layered topics, and finding the ways to offer the safer space for the participants within the project, and to also expand the knowledge database within the local partners and different communities, and how can we learn from each other and apply the gained knowledge in our future projects and future work. The objectives of UNMASC project, we have like as a project we have the the joint objectives that we agreed to achieve and to look to through our joint work, and to question how we can promote gender justice by making structural violence visible and creating counter narratives to misogynist and patriarchal values, norms, and role expectations. And through transnational artistic research and socially engaged theater productions, and also our capacity building and learning opportunities in the field of socially engaged art, we joined together in this 2 years creative journey to explore these topics and to see how our expertise can look, offer, and explore different solutions. And we're now at the second year of the project. We have done the interviews, partially we did also the workshop process. We exchanged on that, and we gathered to in our third transnational meeting in Pristina to also reflect on the work we have done so far, and for Milan, the reflection on the objectives and the process so far, from the perspective of reaching the target groups, established cooperations, challenges with topics, challenging the reaching the target group, and like everything we've been through so far, to kind of reflect on our 1 year and something journey we've been through. Yeah.
For us in Kultura Nova and in Serbia, this project is important because, as you probably know, we are still living in quite patriarchal society. So the challenges are many, let's say. First of all, how to approach this topic and not, if I can say, step out of line. So still, because we of course care about our audience and we would like to keep them on our side and not to be too brutal actually in exposing the facts actually that we came through the research phase and then later on through artistic phase. although the truths are shocking. I mean, we really through this project found really some shocking truths, some shocking stories, some, like we was kind of aware that domestic violence and different gender-related topics are present in our society, but we were not aware of the scale of it. Um, so yeah, it was challenging, and it is still challenging. We are now in the process where we finish this research and started. We are, let's say, somewhere in the middle of the process of creating the play. Uh, but we are still wondering how to put it all together and how to make some valuable artistic piece out of it. Other than that, we also had challenges in a team, let's say. So we had some dropouts since it is a long-lasting project. It was not really expected, but not even that unexpected, let's say, since we are also living very turbulent time, especially nowadays when in Serbia we have riots on the streets and really shift of political how to say political viewpoints or yeah, and so yeah, that is also kind of affecting the project. um, and yes, for the end I can only say that we hope that at the end we will have really something good and worth of showing.
Um, as of Kulturhaus, what is very interesting for us in this project is when we think about gender-related violence or power structures or even feminism itself, what we can observe in society is this kind of like bubbles. You have the people who are very aware of things and who reflect and who kind of think about topics related to power structures, violence, and they would all agree. And if we could easily like attract them for our theater workshops, for the show, we know how to talk to these kind of target groups who are already aware. And it's kind of easy to get to them. But then there's also this other part of society, or parts of society, who might have never thought about what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman, what are stereotypes, what does it mean to live in a system with role expectations, and what does it mean to live in a patriarchal society. And isn't it that more interesting to get to these people, to attract them, to invite them to participate in our theater workshops, to invite them to see the show? So UNMASC is a kind of an experiment on that, on the question like how to maybe get together the people who are like who are aware of things, who think, who reflect a lot on the one hand, and then also people who might have never thought about gender-related topics, and which raises the next question of how you which kind of space do you need to offer then if you have like these different perspectives in one room, and how to how to create a room so that everyone in the room can like feel safe and is able to share the thoughts without hurting someone else. And when it comes this is more for the theater workshops, but when it comes to the show, how to, on the one hand, show something which that irritates people, but irritate them in a way that they are not they don't turn their backs on this topic, and they leave the show being much more interested in gender related topics and power structures and so on, and to be open to reflect and to think about this, and even though they might have never thought about or in detail about topics like this before seeing the show. And I think this is a challenge. Like, it's a very small, like, you have to keep this kind of balance, and it's a very small path. And it's also, I think, an experiment. And we are happy that UNMASC allows us to experiment on that topic and to learn as an organization. Because this question of target groups, like, who are our target groups? How can we approach them? How can we approach groups, marginalized groups which are hard to reach? This is a question which always is on our minds, and yeah.
This
Yeah, it's just the door is closed.
so this project has an importance for Art Police, being an organization, feminist organization, which deals with its mission is to empower young women and youth in general for social change as well. And our instruments are working with art and culture, especially with theater. So this project was kind of our mission as well. So we totally accept it. We loved it, and we try to do our best in order to fulfill all our expectations in total with our partners. And addressing gender-based violence, gender justice, feminism, it's what we do. And we did this through different activities within the project, like artistic research, like what else we had? Okay, interviews, yes. And the experience was wonderful. We gathered different people, youngsters, but not only youngsters, also elder people, diverse, and we got a lot of opinions, a lot of ideas, storytellings, and everything. So which is very, very, very much important, because, as you said, we created first a safe place for them to be with us, and we have a lot of materials that we can create performances, but we can go on with other projects as well, because we listen to their stories and we felt them. And regarding the challenges within the project, as you also said, being in a patriarchal system, very much rooted in Kosovo for ages probably, we have to be careful what we do, what we post, especially in social media. But regardless that as we did the campaign, we had the campaign for gender justice in few languages that are common in Kosovo, and we didn't have any hate comments, which is good. I mean, it is usually we take care of that, and we didn't have any hate comments. But from now on, I think, as you know, in this year, last year as well, there has been a lot of changes throughout the world. A lot of wars, new fronts of wars happened in the world, and a lot of changes in lots of states and their governments. The right side is taking sides, and in Kosovo we are also feeling those changes, that nationalism, more hate speech, more patriarchal languages are being raised. And recently we had this election, and the new party came along, which is called My Family, and it consists of people who are religious, which we didn't have till now. That so a lot of politician deputies that were in the parliament went to that party. Why I am saying this? Because a lot of bad changes are happening around the world, and in Kosovo as well. So being in this project and addressing addressing non-patriarchal system, trying to put the feminism in our society, it can be dangerous from now on. And these kind of projects are very much important, because even though it can be danger, we cannot stop it. If the NGOs or if the civil society cannot work on it, who else will do? So yes, this is it.
So we reflected on the period and activities we had so far, and even more important, on the specific challenges and also like cultural code, like also like in the sense of politics and like in our communities, that were also shedding the light on challenges in the sense of hegemonic narratives, patriarchal hegemonic narratives that are specifically related to our local communities, and how we tried, or what kind of strategies we were developing independently and through these exchanges also together, how to improve our strategies in dealing with those challenges. And as we have heard that the protests, student protests in Serbia, rising far right in Kosovo, which we also had on a political level in Austria, is something, and the global change in the politics is also something that we had to take into consideration while developing this project, and reflecting on how we can, what are the next steps we need to take in order to reach the objectives we have put for ourselves in this project. And like talking about the artistic process, we in Vienna, like, and talking more specifically about the specific challenges related for our local community, we had like multi-layered challenges related to what Andrea had mentioned, is always a thing who has access to art and cultural activities, including in the our sense workshops and later at the end of the project show, and how can we reach the audiences that are not typical theater or consumers of the or artistic productions. And in our context, we're talking about migrant communities mostly, and more specific of work of Kulturhaus Brotfabrik is also engaging the neighborhood, which is somehow our main mission. Uh, and this is something that it is a constant question that we constantly work on and look for new modalities and new strategies how to engage the neighborhood, and also like marginalize in this sense mostly migrant communities, um, and also that was one of the main topics, adding to the complexity of the topics during the workshop and artistic research, because the question of migration, of people who are asylum seekers, of Austrian policy towards the migration, that in the political context is becoming more and more harsh, is also something that was taking a lot of space during the artistic research, and the complexities of the people's identities. And talking about the artistic process and workshops and interviews, the biggest challenge was having different groups made of cis white men, of BIPOC, Flinta, and LGBT people, was dealing with reproducing the stereotypes, which was often happening by white cis men, and how to create a safer space and not to reproduce, or when their stereotypes are reproduced, how to deal with that, how to open the space for discussion, and how to also, like what Milan mentioned, that they faced in their process in Serbia, that some really like shocking things were popping up. That's what we also experience, that people share different experiences of rape, of like workshop participants, of sexual violence, of sexual harassment, partnership violence, and also like power roles related to the working place. So this was something that was centered in our artistic process, and then as someone who was leading that process, I felt that we all often bumped on the wall, that we see all the problems, we name them, but we don't have solutions. Because most of the survivors of the violence were examples were that they left their workplace, that they left their homes, that they lost the jobs, or so on and so forth. And the perpetrators were mostly staying in the position of power, or they would just got a bit lower position. We also had a story of a person that was survivor in the theater context, where they went through the sexual harassment with their superior in theater, and so on and so forth, where he just stayed working there, and the survivor had to leave the job. And these were the challenges that we faced. What was the added value to the project is the established cooperation with Central European University, their gender studies, and students from different other departments, where we gained a very valuable contribution from these students. And they also joined us in the research phase, in the interviews, and also during the workshops. And they will also contribute to the ebook with their insights, and they will reflect on also the methodology and the process, which is a valuable contribution for us to also improve our approach in the future. And the question that is staying, I'm getting back to this, is again reaching different audiences and how to actually communicate these topics with communities that are having less access to culture and art, and to also bring what Andrea mentioned, the communities that are already aware, with those who are where these topics are not so centered. And talking about show, our approach in Vienna is to create something that is some kind of irony, absurd, dark comedy show where we will play with stereotypes rather than reproducing them. And yeah, we kind of chose the humor to as a universal language to talk about these topics and to build this communication channel with the audience. And now we can maybe hear from Sara how it was for you during the process in Novi Sad, artistic process, workshop process, creation process, and the challenges, and also like from very much inside perspective, advantages and what you experienced during this artistic process, and also reflection on your topics, what you have dealt with.
We wanted to create a safe space where everyone's voice would be heard, where everyone could share their personal stories as well as opinions on what's happening to us all on a collective level. And since Serbia is experiencing some I would say unsettling things for us all on a collective level, that's not the main point of our story, but it is a part of it. So, but let's start from the beginning. We started by talking about injustice, like what if we had a chance to solve something in this world, what would we like to change? And there were many topics that were mentioned, but what was and is unsettling for us all was exactly the point of this project: sexual violence, sexual violence, injustice against women, violence in general, and gender inequality. So that was what we started with. And what was important to us to share was that the issue is with the system, not with a single attacker or perpetrator, whatever you want to call them, someone who does violence, and not with a single victim, because we have situations where victims are the ones that get blamed. For example, how someone is dressed, so they deserve it in some way. So what we discovered was that seeing victims as survivors of someone who had a problem, so not seeing the attackers as someone who is like a terrible person
holding them accountable for their actions, of course, but also seeing that these people must have had someone else hurt them beforehand, and that they had to like pass it on to someone else. And the systemic change that would be beneficial for everyone would be to help these people deal with themselves first and to see why they act the way they act, how we can help the people that do these unspeakable things, and helping them improve. So that was one of the topics that was discussed. And the show, as it took like form, ended up being about connecting with ourselves. Like, how can we make peace within our own self? How we can reconnect with our inner child? How we can reconnect with our community? And then it's turned into unity, not only with ourselves, but with other people around us. We would always sit in a circle, and we felt this magic that was there because everyone was there for the same reason, to share stories, because talking about these things is what will help us improve them. And empathy was the main reason that we made what we made. And the final scene shows what we are going through on a collective level. So it focuses, I mean, it's up to interpretation, but our idea was to show what we went through from the 1st of November until now. So we experienced a tragedy, and then we were confused, distressed, and then we made something new from that. We made ourselves a team, and we rose up to try to make things better. So that's kind of the product that we made.
Which actually, I just want to add, I don't know what I mean, but which is actually a good reply to the question you raised before, like what to do with all the issues we bring up during the workshop. But this is, bringing it up is already the first, a good step.
If you can say something about your workshop process that you had.
Okay, I will read it. We already had it. Thanks.
Yeah, you can also.
So we started last year. Okay. So last year we started a workshop during the FemArt Festival, which was on September, and it was a 2-day workshop led by Shpatim Selmani and Attila Antal from partner Cultura Nova. And the workshop was called Art, Activism and Equality, the Intersection of Gender and Peace Building. And within this workshop, there were 23 people, participants from all communities living in Kosovo, Albanians, Roma, Ashkadi, they were from Turkish as well. And also there were participants from Serbia as well. So, it was a workshop that was in a powerful exploration of gender, human rights, and peace building. It was held in a Dodona theater, and in a space, very safe space. I must say that the workshop was held in two languages. We had in Albanian and Serbian, since we had Serbian also participants, and the translation was in a consecutive form, because in all our workshops we tend, when we have other communities, we tend to listen and to talk in a native language, so everybody can listen the other language and be familiar with other culture as well. This is the best form to everybody feel safe and to express themselves as much as they can. And this was the form that we applied in this workshop, and people felt safe to express themselves. And yes, it was this was engaged in the unique methodology that centered on gathering qualitative data through counter narratives and personal stories. So these stories became the foundation for collaborative creation of a theater performance, as I said earlier, and allowing participants to translate their reflection and experiences into artistic expression. So in addition to these stories, the participants developed skills in writing short texts within these 2 days, and which later on they shared on Instagram, in their personal accounts. And yeah, so by bringing together young people from diverse backgrounds, this workshop not only strengthened artistic skills but also reinforced the power of art as tool for activism and peace building.
So, to conclude our reflection and to come to the joint space of exchanging the knowledge and experiences on activities that we have conducted so far, we can say that we face different challenges in our processes. We also had different methodological approaches, and we also each of us had, according to our specific challenges and situations in our local communities, we chose the unique paths how to develop show and how to gain the best and how to apply the best practices in developing the show and dealing with the topics. And the advantage of this project and the way we composed it initially when we were coming up with this collaborative idea is that we have these moments and chances to exchange and to learn from each other and to understand the complexities of challenges we are facing in our communities, and to see how challenges of the other and what, like, talking about the definitions, what diversity means in the context of Kosovo, what it means in the context of Serbia, Austria, and how they connect, and how we can learn from each other in responding to these challenges, what inclusion means in each of our contexts, and how we can improve our strategies for inclusion and working with diverse communities. And Venera gave very concrete example that is obviously in a longer run part of the Art Policy work, how they deal with translations in the context of Kulturhaus Broodfabrik. It's also like how to engage communities that are having the less access to cultural and art productions. And in Novi Sad, also they were participants to the workshops that were coming with the bus from another cities on a daily basis, making an effort uh, because they felt that they belonged to the group, to the community was created within the workshop process, which then gives really valuable insights of what is the project reach, how it communicates with our target groups, and what is the impact during the implementing of the project activities. And since we're entering the last phase of the project, when the shows are also going to come on stage, we will also reflect on that phase through the activities of also touring and being at like hosting each other. And also we will reflect in the future on the artistic residencies that are also in the process of happening. So yeah, there in the last stage we will gain even more knowledge how the project impacts our work in general and also dealing on the project topics.